Hey, what's up there, bros? Okay, listen, I did a bracket hot take video. My opinions on brackets. Basically, a lot of you guys hated it. I got hated on by a damn bird in the comments, dude. He's in there going cheap, cheap, cheap. I was like, what the heck? Take it easy. My favorite comment was, bye. I'm not sure what that means, but I hope it just means that he unsubscribed, all right? And not that he decided to leave the earth, the mortal coil, as it were. In any case, don't take anything I say too seriously. I'm just spitting hot fire over here. I gotta make videos about something, dude. I got this channel. I got 17,000 subscribers. Well, not that many, 16,000 some odd. Now, if you're a guy who makes videos on the internet, you're gonna get in the middle of some controversies, all right? I get into it, brother. I mix it up. You can get into it with a sweet like or dislike. If you're that sort of person, leave a comment. Subscribe for me, dude. It helps the channel and it's free. That's free real estate and that's better commander, brother. So listen, Sab Sunan is absolutely nuts. It's like $4 or $5 right now. Frankly, I'm shocked. It's a powerhouse card. I get it. You can't do much with it if you can't attack or block, but wait, man, you can actually draw 2 cards. That's a pretty decent payoff. So as I'm wont to do, I set myself a little challenge. I was aiming for like $60 deck. I think I went a little bit over that, $63 or so. But, good news, everybody. It's bracket 1 estimated on Mox Field. I'll be stomping through the Horse Girl decks, the All Cauldron decks, and the 99 land decks, the Elves Who Have No Ears decks, all kinds of stuff, man. Honestly, as always, I aim for a 75% deck that can hang in any bracket with a nice budget. I'm gonna go wild, dude. Let's read the damn card. All right, we got Sab Sunan, the Luxa Embodied. Look at that body, dude. 3 green and a blue, legendary creature god. It's a 6/6, has reach, trample, and indestructible. Can't attack or block unless it has an even number of counters on it. That's any counters. At the beginning of your first main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on Sab Sunan. Then if it has an odd number of counters on it, draw 2 cards. All right, listen, we're going to parse that out a little bit. 6/6 for 5, that's great. Reach, trample, and indestructible. These are all fantastic abilities for a big beater commander. Now that last ability is kind of crazy. The idea is to manipulate the counters, right? So at the beginning of that main phase, you want an even number of counters on it so you can put a counter on it, draw 2 cards, then add a counter to it later in the turn, and be able to slap in when combat happens. Puts a premium on cheap cards that add counters. There are some sweet little tricks you can do. One of my favorites is slip out the back here, right? If somebody tries to Swords to Plow your big voluptuous golden frog woman commander, phase her out. Dust Shell Crawler, that's another good one. When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. So our commander already has trample, but I'm going with the +1/+1 counters theme, dude. A lot of these other creatures don't. So we're putting a premium on that. It's basically pretty good evasion if you have these big countered up creatures. Pride Malkin is a similar card, just 1 more mana. You guys ever play Blaze Blue? I remember Ragnar the Blood Edge calling somebody Grimalkin. Reminds me of that a little bit. Sometimes I think about Ragnar the Blood Edge, wonder what he's up to. Look at this card, the Fangs of Colonia, the Hyena's Fangs out here. 1 in a green, sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature that had a +1/+1 counter put on it this way. Has overload for 4 green. Now we are in Simic. We'll probably have lots of mana with all the little mana dorks, so this 20-cent uncommon goes great in here. It's a budget deck, man. A good place to show off these hipster cards. Now, if your commander is a big old busty frog, you may want to slot in a fight spell out there like Ancient Animus, 1 in a green for an instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. If it's a legendary, then it fights target creature an opponent controls. Looks like a tree is fighting a linebacker, I guess. I don't know what's going on in that art. We do have a sweet planeswalker here too. Zhang Yu, I guess. I don't know. Probably butchered that name, but listen, man. People come in, they're the pronunciation police. They're like, oh, that's not how you pronounce like this, dude. Give me a break, all right? I barely speak English over here. But like Rishkar, Pima Renegade, this turns your countered up creatures into mana dorks if you need a little extra mana. Rishkar is good in these decks, man. Rishkar is a fantastic card. I love this dude out there. You have generic counter adders like Master Biomancer, Renata, Call to the Hunt, adding counters when stuff comes in. These are great as they curve nicely into the commander. But you also have cards like this, Zimone Paradox Sculptor. This does a lot. 2 green and a blue, legendary creature, human wizard. It's a 1/4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures you control. Has green and blue tap it, double the number of each kind of counter on up to 2 target creatures and or artifacts you control. Great card in the 99 of a Simic counters deck. Azimona. And then you have the Defiler of Vigor. 3 green, creature Phyrexian Worm. It's a 6/6. This guy also has Trample. As an additional cost to cast green permanent spells, this is a creature-based deck, you may pay 2 life. Those spells cost green less to cast if you paid life this way. This effect reduces only the amount of green mana you pay. Whenever you cast a green permanent spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Why is this? Why do they call him a Defiler? All right, he's just a snake in the woods, dude. He's doing snake stuff. What do you want him to do out there? Bake a cake? He's chilling with the snaky darkness, man. So this deck is a Simic deck, can do some nutty stuff. You have some powerful creatures. You have some Hydras. The Colonian Hydra. 3 green, creature Hydra. It's a 0/0 with Trample. Enters with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever this creature attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. It's like $3, man. Used to be a pricier card, but in the modern meta, it's just a beater. You also have, of course, the requisite hardened scales type effects. You also have cards like Kami of Whispered Hope, stuff like that. You want to increase these counters as much as you possibly can. So you got a big old frog. You have 3 win conditions. Combat damage with Trample. That's pretty good evasion. I have several Trample enablers you could slap in for commander damage. You got the hot golden frog as a beater. It's indestructible. It's gaining counters every turn. It's got Trample. It's hard to deal with. You also have Simic Ascendancy. Green and a blue enchantment. Has 1 green and a blue. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. That's pretty good with our commander. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature you control, put that many growth counters on this enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if this enchantment has 20 or more growth counters on it, you win the game, dude. It's too many growth counters, man. People say 20 is too big. 4 or 5 get the job done, but not with this card. This is not a great win condition, admittedly, but it is a must-answer permanent based on how this deck is constructed. Now, as Zach Kelly points out in the comments of another video, Sabsunin counts all counters. So slapping a shield counter and an ability counter from Ikoria, or a damn bricked up golden smoking hot frog can't get her out of my mind counter. Hexproof counters, particularly good with the old slippery bog bonder. Christina Ricci, take a look at this art, man. Tell me she doesn't look like Christina Ricci. Come on. All that for $65 or so. Plays nice, it's simple, the commander's like $5. It's powerful but not oppressive. The win conditions I think are pretty fair. You know, combat damage, it's like, it's not a combo or anything like that. There's no combos in here. And honestly, I would slap this against modified precons all the way up to bracket 4. Go wild, dude, all the way wild. Dude's gone wild in the back of the Wild Boys bus, dude. I'm setting it up right now, man. We're going to wear white. We're going to get all kinds of baby oil in there. It's going to be amazing, dude. I talked to P. Diddy about this. He said, yeah, do it. It's fine. No, don't worry. You're not going to do any crimes, right? I was like, I mean, maybe. Anyways, Nikki G, Better Commander, signing off.